Are you afraid of the dark?
Less than I was when I was a kid, but
That's fair.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's terrifying. Anything could be out there. Clowns.
That's what I was going to ask, because I feel like there's a thing where it's like, is it actually the dark you're afraid of, or is it something specific? But I feel like if you're feeling like anything could come out of there and they all feel equally possible, then it's the dark that you're scared of.
That's what it is. Oh, you think? Yeah.
Because I feel like if it's dark in my house, like if I'm home alone at night, what I'm scared of is a home invasion. But if I'm outside and it's night, a pterodactyl could come sweep me up, and I wouldn't be surprised.
That's still invasion, you know?
No, but it's like the fear is more vague when I'm outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You
But
know?
honestly, even in my house, I'm like, what if a pterodactyl swoops in? But only when the lights are off.
Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. Every week on Butter No Parsnips, your hosts Emily Moyers and Kyle Imperator take you on an adventure through the weird, wacky, wonderful, and sometimes even wicked world of one wayside word. Strange characters, delightful bits, and general joyousness abound. Join them as they test each other's etymological expertise.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. I'm Kyle Imperator.
And I'm Emily Moyers. Kyle, I got a spooky word.
Oh, it's spooky.
A little bit.
Interesting.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay, I'm excited.
Kyle, the word I have for you is aphotic. Aphotic. Aphotic.
Okay. I can guess
This is
one.
guessable.
This is guessable.
You got this.
Aphotic. All right.
Yeah.
So, gut guess right off the bend.
You might be
off
right.
The bend. Okay. I mean, it's a joke guess, so no, I won't be. Is the quality of being an aphid.
No, that would be aphidic.
Aphidic. All right. I mean, so logically, A is like not or opposite, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Photograph,
Yeah.
like pictures, images,
Yeah.
like sight,
Getting closer.
light, no light. Aphotic means no light.
You got it. That's
Wow.
it. That was a real like taking the steps in the Scooby-Doo episode of like, how do I get there?
I can't believe I've never heard this word before, considering how often we have no light.
Well, see, Kyle, this brings me to my next question, because you guessed the word. It's the A is not the photic as in, I mean, we'll talk about words later, but it's the Greek for light.
Mm-hmm.
And it means having no light, often specifically no sunlight. But what is something that we might describe as being aphotic? What context do you think this is often used in?
Oh, is it space? Is it space?
Oh, Kyle.
Space.
You're thinking in the right terms of like not where we are, but maybe instead of up, think down.
Oh, mole people. Where the mole people live.
No.
Oh, is this flushed away? Is this the sewers?
It is not.
Caves.
No. I'll go ahead and give it to you.
Can I have one more guess? Because I got a lot of guesses in here.
Do you want actually the hint I have might help you with it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wait, what did you just say?
Underwater?
Yeah.
Like the deep dark trenches.
Yeah.
Of the,
you got it. Yes. Aphotic
the
is
Marinara Trench.
Marinara Trench. Yes, Kyle, aphotic is usually used in reference to regions in a deep lake or ocean which are reached by little or no sunlight.
Real cool. Love this.
So we're going to talk deep sea today.
Emily, I must have told you that when I was in elementary school, I wanted to be a marine biologist because of deep sea creatures. Like I was fascinated by them.
They're crazy.
They're crazy.
Absolutely.
They're crazy.
But let's start in our usual word place, and then we'll get down under.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. There are some crazy creatures down under.
So, I mean, we've basically covered it already, but linguistically speaking, this word is pretty simple. Ultimately, our root is the ancient Greek phos, which meant light, particularly daylight, likely derived from a Proto-Indo-European root, beh, which meant to shine or glow or to appear or be visible. Were you entertained by beh?
It's just like, imagine somebody talking to you and trying to have that as a part of the conversation and them just going, bleh.
Because it's written out, I mean, it's not a real word, it's a reconstruction of a word, but it's written out B superscript H E H.
Oh. That's perfect.
Whenever the superscript is in there, I feel like I need to raise my own face to get across.
Like your mouth gets really tiny. It moves up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, what does beh mean?
To shine or glow or to appear or be visible. Which I thought was interesting because those are sort of the two spheres where we talk about light. We talk about like literally glowing, but scientifically light can also just be like whatever hits your eyes.
Yeah. Like you cannot see it unless the light is there. So
yeah. In the Attic dialect of Greek, which was the dialect spoken in Athens, among other places.
That's what that means?
Attic is like, I think it comes from Attica, which is like the area, the region where Athens was capital of.
Wow. I mean, this makes a lot of sense now.
Yes. If you see Attic Greek, it doesn't mean the attic in your house.
But attic in the house, scary place for it to be aphotic, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, particularly yours, we've already determined it's haunted, so.
Haunted.
In the Attic Greek, phos appeared as phos, or light, and as photos, or of light. And of course, that gave us our English root photo, which was used to construct scientific terms from at least the latter half of the 1700s. The OED does note the word photosphere, which in the 1800s meant the outer layer of a star, but was used as early as 1664 to mean an orb of light, just a photosphere.
Oh, wow. Literally a photosphere. Okay. Interesting that would then come back around to being specifically related to photography in ghost hunting.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Right?
Kyle, I was just going to ask, can you rattle off any other photo terms?
Photograph.
Photograph is the earliest form. It predates photography, from what I can tell. Literally meant an image drawn using light. The graph is drawing.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but photon is the next word that comes to my mind.
Yep, it is. It looks like it's basically a portmanteau of photo and electron.
Bad portmanteau. It takes almost no letters from one of the words.
Or I guess just like a smushing together. What about if somebody's really good in a photograph? If someone looks really great in a photograph?
Oh, photogenic.
Yes. As early as 1835, it initially meant relating to the then new phenomenon of photography, the chemical process of reproducing light. The Jenny there is like generated by light.
Sure.
But it gained its current meaning in 1922 when photography was becoming a little bit more common.
That's really interesting. That's fun.
What do plants do, Kyle?
Oh, they just chill.
Yeah, they just chill. They just chill.
Photosynthesize?
Yes. Photosynthesis used as early as 1893, the process by which plants synthesize molecules using light.
Still a crazy concept. As much as we've ingrained it into, childhood brains, it's just a wacky thing.
I was like trying to understand, because I was like, for the first time while I was writing this episode, I was like, synthesis. Why synthesis? What does synthesis mean? Apparently it means like arranging, and it's because like the molecules arrange themselves from the energy of the light. I don't really understand it. Photosynthesis is crazy.
It's wacky.
But of course, in addition to all of those terms, the root photo was combined with the suffix ic, which is often appended to Greek and Latin words to mean of or pertaining to. Thus, the term photic, which dates back to the 1840s, meant pertaining to light. As far as I can tell, it was originally used in the early study of photography. It's been used in several fields, including oceanography, which we'll get to in a bit.
Sure.
The best use, by far, that I found is the photic sneeze reflex, which is the tendency to sneeze on exposure to bright light. It's just the real term for a sun sneeze.
Oh, I've never heard sun sneeze.
Oh, you don't get that when you walk into like a sunny place, you sneeze?
Of course, yes. But I've never. Wow.
Yeah, that's a
Is that
medical phenomenon.
Is that why when you have to sneeze, people say, "Look up at the lights"?
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, what I learned is it's a genetic trait, the photic sneeze reflex. You inherit it in your genes, so not everybody gets them.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
That's so strange.
But it's called the photic sneeze reflex.
Wow, something went either really wrong or really right in someone's genealogy.
I think it's a dominant trait, so most people get it. But yeah, to the word photic was appended the prefix a. As you might imagine, there are many iterations of the prefix that is just the letter a, but the version that comes from ancient Greek is called the alpha privative. Alpha as in the Greek letter a, privative as in deprive, which you correctly guessed the a means not.
Privative, yeah. I'm thinking of privine, privy.
Sure.
Deprive, huh?
Yeah. So privative can be used broadly to mean in absence of something, but it's also used grammatically to refer to words that indicate absence. So for instance, any adjective ending in less, such as hopeless or heartless, is a privative adjective.
That's fun. That's a real fun category, you know? Yeah.
So this prefix a, also indicating absence or negation in words, is the alpha privative. Kyle, can you think of any other English words that use this prefix?
Oh, so many. Oh God, but off the top of my head, that's a hard one to do.
If someone doesn't believe in any religion.
Yeah, they're atheistic.
They're atheistic. What if it doesn't look the same on both sides?
Asymmetric.
Asymmetrical. What if someone doesn't want any sexual relations?
A-okay by me. No, I'm just... Asexual?
Yes. Yeah, those are all cases where the A is used to mean just not.
They're privatives.
They're privatives, yes, using the alpha privative. And then, of course, aphotic, meaning having no light. The earliest usage was published in 1894 in the 14th Annual Report of the New Jersey State Agricultural Experiment Station.
New Jersey Experiment Station?
Yeah. And it is specifically in the biologist's report. The report from the biologist in this particular issue, who is not named, studies the growth and spread of tuberculosis in cattle. That was like the experiment they were doing that year in 1894.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yes, let's not forget that. It's in New Jersey.
I'm just picturing a Jersey shore filled with tuberculosis-ridden
yeah, absolutely.
cows.
On the beach.
You know? They're all on the Ferris wheel together with an unnamed biologist.
That's right, with the unnamed biologist. Capital U, capital B.
His name is Mr. Unnamed Biologist.
But one section of the report in particular discusses, quote, what conditions favor the state of susceptibility to consumption, i.e., what makes you at risk for disease? What promotes bacterial growth? The article highlights a handful of factors, one of which being sunlight. They discuss sunlight being an undervalued aspect of hygiene and cite work by contemporary scholar known today as one of the fathers of microbiology, Robert Koch, demonstrating the sun's germicidal effects. And they write, quote, why neglect this chief of disinfectants? We have bacteria classified as aerobic and anaerobic. We need to classify bacteria as photic and aphotic.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow. Really making some scientific strides down on the Jersey Shore.
On the Jersey Shore, right off the turnpike.
They got Snooky doing science. They got...
You think even then they had rest stops named after famous people from New Jersey in that era?
Yes, I think they did. Surprisingly, Chris Christie was a rest stop back then.
Yes, different Chris Christie, but just as horrifying.
The governor was named after the rest stop, and then it was just like a cyclical thing.
Yeah, it's gone back and forth. Over the past century and a half. I did find a text also from the 1890s using aphotic to mean having no light in general, not sunlight. It was a book on electromagnetism. I think it was using the word aphotic to express the idea that electricity can't be seen. But honestly, I don't even know. It was so far over my head. Couldn't get a word of it.
Totally fair. It wasn't written in the New Jersey vernacular.
No, I can only understand things written in New Jersey and New Jersian.
New Jersian. All right, so it's going to be aphotic, but also GTL.
Hard-hitting jokes from 2013. But aphotic almost exclusively has referred to a lack of sunlight and is most often used in the context of the region in a body of water that sunlight does not reach. It was first used in this sense by German botanist Andreas Franz Wilhelm Schimper in his book Plant Geography.
Sorry. It was very pompous name and then ended with Schimper. Von Wilhelm Schimper.
In his book, Plant Geography Upon a Physiological Basis, or in German, because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Oh, I love it. Let's hear it.
Pflanzengeographie auf physiologischer Grundlage. Honestly, not bad.
That was pretty good, Emily. I love it. Schimper would be proud.
Thank you. He's not proud of himself, clearly, based on how he delivers his name.
Yeah, with a Schimper whimper.
That classic Schimper whimper.
Classic Schimper whimper.
It was originally written in German in 1898, and its 1903 English edition used the word aphotic, translated from the German aphotische. Schimper discusses the physiology of plants in various environments, one of which being marine. He writes, to the regions of altitude of the land correspond the regions of depth in the water, and the decisive factor in water is light. Schimper talks about how these regions of depth are, in fact, regions of decreasing intensity of light. And he distinguishes three chief stages of brightness. Quote, the photic or bright region, the dysphotic or dim region, and the aphotic or dark region.
Ooh.
A short while after Schimper's book, British oceanographer and limnologist, which is someone who studies inland water, John Murray, discussed the topic in his 1913 book, The Ocean, A General Account of the Science of the Sea. Murray distinguishes two major regions, the photic zone and the aphotic or deep sea zone. And these are the terms still used to refer to depth.
So we refer to the depth in two zones.
So there is further stratification, which we might get into in our game today. But when speaking broadly, depth is generally split into the photic and aphotic zone. Sometimes people do still refer to like a dysphotic, like transition between.
Sure.
But broadly, it's those two. Now, to say that the aphotic zone is without sunlight is not to say that it is entirely without light. Kyle, do you know where I might be going with this?
An underwater civilization?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Oh, is it bioluminescence?
Kyle, it is. In his book, John Murray writes, daylight does not penetrate to the waters of this zone, the sun's rays being almost wholly absorbed in passing through the upper layers, but phosphorescent light produced by organisms appears to play a great role through the whole zone. And another term that we might use for that phosphorescent light is bioluminescence, seen in all manner of organisms, fireflies being an example we might encounter in our everyday lives, but it is particularly prevalent in the deep sea where no other light is present.
Anglerfish. Gulper eels? Do they have bioluminescence?
I don't know if they do.
I think those are the only two I can name.
Yes, they do.
That's what I thought.
Oh, right on the end. Wow. Deep sea creatures are crazy.
They're crazy.
Crazy, scary aliens.
Scary
Absolute
aliens.
Lovecraftian
That's what I'm
monsters.
afraid of. Yes. Coming at me in the dark.
Absolutely. Just a gulper eel out of nowhere. Yeah. Mouth gigantic. Yeah. Kyle, can you think of some ways a deep sea creature might benefit from bioluminescence?
Well, like with anglerfish, they can use them to taunt prey.
Taunt.
Yeah, yeah, not entrap. It just is like
Just
kind of
mock.
like nah.
Yeah. Any other possible uses spring to mind?
Just to see if
Sure.
well, but they probably don't have good eyesight anyway.
So they do actually, because bioluminescence is a factor. There are some. It depends on the creature, but there are some that
Sure.
have like big giant fish eyes for
I love
for
that.
seeing tiny pinpoints of light in darkness.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like underwater eyes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there more reasons?
I've got some. Yeah. So the crazy thing about bioluminescence is that we don't know a ton about it. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, we don't know how it evolved in animals and other organisms. We don't know why it's common in ocean, but not in lake deep sea environments. And we don't know for sure how different creatures use it, although we do have a lot of good theories. And some creatures we have a better idea than others. One of the things this light can be used for in the deep sea is communication, namely finding a mate in the dark expanse, because you don't want to waste energy going out and looking for one. Various defensive strategies, one of which might be to startle a predator, to just like give him the old razzle dazzle and just like just like blind him and then run.
It's why there are so many sequined deep sea fish.
Absolutely. Another defensive strategy is to I've seen it referred to as the burglar alarm, which is to basically, if a predator is coming at you, light up the area to make the predator feel like they're at risk of a bigger predator.
Sure.
just the there's always a bigger fish tactic.
Yeah. Someone's gonna see you.
I wouldn't feel safe here if I were you. You might want to go. Cops could be here any second. I've pulled the alarm. And then, of course, offensively, it can be used to light up one's search for prey. And for creatures looking to conserve energy in this food-scarce environment, it can be used to lure prey right to them. Kyle, you said it already, but what is the most iconic example of a deep-sea predator which uses bioluminescence to lure in its prey?
The anglerfish, the football fish.
The football fish, is it called that?
The family of the anglerfishes are called football fish. Animal Crossing taught me that.
Yes, Kyle, the female anglerfish has a lit antenna, which hangs in front of its mouth.
Right. Yes, because the male ones are just really, really tiny, right?
Yes. Well, neither of them are that big. I think they're like a max 6 inches.
Wow, I always pictured them big.
Because we all grew up watching Finding Nemo. They're big relative to clownfish.
Sure, that's fair.
And it attracts mates and lures in prey, with the light allowing the anglerfish to remain mostly motionless. Female anglerfish hardly move in their lives. They just conserve energy and wait for food.
I know a couple people like that.
I was going to say, this is my ideal life. Just sit in one spot.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah. Listen, Kyle, it's already old news when we're recording this. It will definitely be old news by the time the episode comes out. But we're talking about the deep sea, and it felt crazy not to bring it up. So to close this out, Kyle, did you hear about that anglerfish that made everybody cry?
What? No.
No?
No, what are you talking about?
Wow. You didn't see this was like a whole thing on TikTok.
I feel like you're gaslighting me.
No, I'm not.
This is the gaslighting portion of the episode.
So I will tell this story in full then for anyone like Kyle who missed it.
Yeah.
In late January 2025, very recently, a humpback anglerfish, otherwise known as a black sea devil, which typically resides around 200 to 2,000 or 3,000 meters deep, was seen in the Aphotic zone and headed towards the surface. And there happened to be divers right nearby, filming it. So it's the second time we've gotten this good a look at anglerfish. They was just swimming right towards the surface, and it was a female because it had the antenna.
It just one day grew sentience and was like, What's above us?
So you've hit on exactly the thing. So we're not 100% sure why she was there. It's been posited that she might have been sick, or she got lost because she was fleeing a predator or got caught in a current. Just to give a little of the science here, deep sea fish are evolved to live under very heavy water pressure because the further down you go, the heavier the pressure. And if they get too high, the lower pressure can mess with their buoyancy control. So it's very possible that she was floating to the top unintentionally. She was just being carried up. And also, their eyes are evolved to see in near total darkness, as we discussed. So with her face in the sun, she was almost definitely blind.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Despite these facts, social media, particularly women on TikTok, were very taken with the idea that this anglerfish knew she was dying and deliberately swam towards the surface so she could spend her last moments seeing something unknown and beautiful.
Aww.
Women are brave.
Honestly, I mean, it is a very sweet notion.
You have to go look. There's so many TikToks of women fully sobbing. And my coworker was telling me about this and literally started like tearing while she was telling me.
Are they sobbing over, like, is there a video that they watched or just the news about it?
I mean, you could see the fish swimming up. So here's the thing. So people have since made it clear that, like, we know it's just an anglerfish. It's not about the anglerfish. It basically just like conjured a story that brought forth very real emotions for a lot of women, which is fair. It's a lovely idea.
You break that glass ceiling, anglerfish.
Yeah, you know, it just sort of like felt immediately allegorical for a lot of people. Yeah. But no, it was just a sick fish. But Kyle, I hope I have shed a light in the darkness and taught you a little something about aphotic. And I'm hoping that you can use aphotic in a sentence for us all now, possibly in a delightful flight of fancy about an anthropomorphized fish.
I think I can, Emily. I'll tell you the story of one such anglerfish. We're going to call her Bert. And Bert was living her day-to-day life, not moving, as one does when you're an anglerfish. And one day Bert just said, you know what? I don't need the patriarch. I don't need the man telling me what to do with my body. They want me to stay put. Well, I'm not going to stay put any longer. And she swam up out of the aphotic zone. And even when her eyes and flesh burned and she hated it, she said, no, I'm doing this for all the angler fishesses out there. And we all learned that maybe we're in our own aphotic zones sometimes.
We are.
And that we need to swim out of that.
We need to swim
get a
towards
greater
the light.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that means we're going to die. But I guess she did die. So
I mean, absolutely. She was...
maybe there was a death allegory here, too. I don't know.
It's a real, like, tragic, you know, like Greek. It's a Greek tragedy. Aphotic.
It is a Greek tragedy. Yeah.
There we go.
I would love to see a Greek anglerfish goddess now.
Apparently, like, people are already calling out, like, Pixar, make a movie about the anglerfish.
Oh, Worst finding angler. Finding Bert.
Finding Bert. Kyle, great sentence. Let's play a game.
Please.
Kyle, the game I have is called Get in the Zone, Aphotic Zone. I don't know what the reach of that commercial is and how small a percentage of people are going to get that joke, but for the few of you out there, that was for you. Kyle, in modern parlance, ocean depth is often stratified into 5 zones. Each of them make use of the root pelagic from the Greek pelagos, meaning sea. But for this game, Kyle, I'm going to ask you about the prefixes in each of these zones. And you're going to tell me what they mean.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
The topmost zone, in addition to being called the photic zone, employs a Greek prefix meaning which of the following? Teeming, cyan, or on top of?
Do I get to hear what it's called?
No.
Oh, I just gotta guess.
Because what if you know that prefix? You know Greek.
Do. Of course I do. So this is the topmost.
Yes, this is the first like 200 meters.
So teeming sounds charming, you know? It sounds like, it's teeming with life.
Mm-hmm.
On top of sounds like really just, we needed a name for it, which is how a lot of scientific terms are created.
This is true.
What was the middle one?
Cyan.
Oh, it can't be that one.
No.
We don't know we don't know anything.
Okay.
Oh, but it could be. I'm going to go with teeming because that's one I like the most.
That's very fair. It is incorrect. It is the epipelagic zone from the Greek epi, meaning on top of. Yep. But teeming would be apt because though it is a very small percentage of the ocean's water, it is home to around 90% of marine life.
Wow.
Yep.
That we know of. That's like a bold statement, frankly.
That's true. But it's where 100% of plant marine life is, because that's where all the photosynthesis can happen.
Know of.
No, Kyle.
They could be photosynthesizing from bioluminescence. We don't know.
No.
Why not?
Because the sun gives off UV rays. That's what they're using.
Yeah, and the bioluminescence gives off BO rays.
You can't even say it. All right, Kyle, I got 5 of these. We got to buzz through. About 200 meters down is what's often called the twilight zone, the transition from light to dark, employing a prefix meaning middle, half, or twilight.
Middle.
You got it. Wow. That just came right out of you.
I mean, I'm catching on.
It is the mesopelagic zone from the Greek mesos, meaning middle. The sunlight that reaches here is enough for vision, but not enough for net photosynthesis. About 1,000 meters below the water surface begins what's called the midnight zone, total darkness, employing a prefix meaning deep, dark, or dull.
It's got to be dark. No, it's got to be deep. I think it's deep.
You got it, Kyle.
Yeah.
It is the bathypelagic or bathyal zone from the Greek bathos, meaning deep.
I knew that word.
You knew that word? See, this is why I didn't want to give you the prefixes. This zone has a lot of undersea cliffs and slopes and rises. A lot of like the continental changes in elevation are here, and that generates a lot of deep sea currents with those changes in elevation.
Sure.
Starting around 4,000 meters deep is the abyss, whose name is derived from the word for lifeless, bottomless, or friendless.
Aw. I'm sure they have friends down there.
They're few and far between, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with bottomless. Just like my mimosas, I like my deep sea bottomless.
God, you got good instincts. You are correct. It is the abyssopelagic or abyssal zone from the Greek abyssos, meaning bottomless, itself derived from bathos or deep, with the prefix a, meaning not.
Wow, it's a privative.
I guess so. There's much slower movement of water in this zone because it ends in the abyssal plain, aka the ocean floor. So it's mostly just flat.
But there's a zone beneath that?
Well, Kyle, we've hit the ocean floor. Only one thing can be left. Trenches.
Trenches
have an alternate name derived from which Greek name? Kronos, Tartarus, or Hades?
Ooh, not Kronos. Because that's time. Tartarus is good because that's like hell. And Hades is good because that's like
hell.
A Tartarus trench feels the most fun.
That's fair, but it is the Hadopelagic or Hadal zone from Hades, god of the underworld. I thought it was pronounced Hadal because that sounded at least more sciencey, and then I looked it up. Nope, it is Hadopelagic or Hadal zone. Bill Hadel.
Bill Hadel.
That term was coined in the 1950s, prior to which these areas were termed ultra abyssal.
Ultra abyssal. Dang, dang, dang. We'll get you, Negatron. It's just a bunch of fish being thrown at a robot.
But they're deep sea fish, so they're scary.
They're scary. Oh God. Yeah, you win.
I give up. That's fine. Kyle, I think you got 3 out of 5. Great job.
Thanks. That is what I want to hear.
You're a Greek genius.
Emily, what an episode that startled me and alarmed me, just like bioluminescence in an aphotic zone might do. Yeah, I love hearing about deep sea fishes. So
yeah. I wanted to talk about it more, but I was like, there's not time, and this is so much science for a word podcast.
But we love it. We love it. And everybody who loves it at home, remember that you can watch us on YouTube at Butter No Parsnips, and you can find Butter No Parsnips on other social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Butter No Parsnips Podcast, and on TikTok at Butter No Parsnips. And if you liked today's episode, consider giving us a 5-star rating or review wherever you heard us.
And if you really liked today's episode, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/butternoparsnips. Donating $5 or more gets you exclusive access to Buttered Parsnips, our After Hours podcast.
Thanks so much to all of you. You help us make what we make.
And with that, I've been Emily Moyers.
And I've been Kyle Imperator, and this has been Butter No Parsnips.
Butter No Parsnips is produced by Seth Glicksman, Kyle Imperator, and myself, Emily Moyers. The main and accompanying themes were composed by Kyle Imperator.